You ever seen a courtroom go dead quiet when a 7-year-old black kid, silent for months, gives his service dog a secret signal that flips a whole case upside down, exposing a racist system that tried to bury his family? That's what happened when a boy and his dog took on a museum's lies, a biased judge, and a city's power players, proving truth can speak louder than words. By the time the dust settled, justice was served, but it left me wondering if one kid's courage can really change a system built to silence folks like him, or if this was just a spark in a fight that's still burning. My name's Jamal Carter, and this is the story of how a crisp fall day in Fairview, a polished suburb outside Indianapolis, turned into a battle that gave a traumatized boy his voice back, brought down a corrupt institution, and changed how I see what justice costs. I was there, just a reporter for the Fairview Chronicle, scribbling notes in a packed courtroom when 7-year-old Caleb Turner, eyes wide and hands steady, made a subtle gesture to his black Labrador, Duke. The dog stood, padded to the witness stand, and placed his paw on a photo of Carl Weston, the museum's head of security. Judge Harold Grayson's face went pale, like he'd seen a ghost, because that photo tied Weston to a lie that had framed Caleb's dad, Marcus, for assault. Caleb hadn't spoken since that day at the Fairview Science Center, when security profiled him, roughed up his dad, and sparked a trauma that locked his voice away. But with Duke, trained to read his every signal, Caleb was about to unravel a web of racism that reached from the museum's boardroom to the judge's golf buddies. It started months earlier at that science center, a shiny beacon of learning where Caleb, a brainy kid who read astronomy books for fun, was on a field trip with his elite private school. He was the only black kid in his class, always a bit on the outside despite acing every test. His parents, Lena, a pediatric surgeon, and Marcus, an architect with designs in national magazines, had fought for him to fit in at Fairview's mostly white Crestwood Hills. But that day, security singled Caleb out, demanding his ID despite his school badge, sneering, "You sure you're with this group, kid?" His teacher didn't stop them, and when Marcus showed up, calm but firm, the guards pounced, slamming him to the floor, knee on his neck, slurs whispered low. Caleb watched, frozen, as his dad gasped, "I can't breathe," and that image burned so deep it stole his words. Marcus faced assault charges, the museum's edited footage painting him as the aggressor, and Caleb's silence became his cage, until Duke came along, a lifeline that turned his pain into power. Caleb's family wasn't new to Crestwood's side eyes. Neighbors crossed the street, PTA meetings ignored their ideas, but they'd carved out a life, their home a haven of love and Caleb's star charts. That museum trip was supposed to be a bright spot, Caleb buzzing in his NASA tee, notebook ready for questions about black holes. But when guards hauled him to a security office, accusing him of sneaking in, his world cracked. Marcus arrived, voice steady, "Where's my son?" Only to be tackled, cuffed, blood on the tile as Caleb's classmates stared, silent. The trauma locked Caleb's voice, doctors calling it selective mutism, some dismissing it as him acting out. Lena and Marcus, hearts breaking, refused to let it define him. They found Dr. Nathan Brooks, a trauma specialist who suggested a service dog. Enter Duke, a 2-year-old lab with eyes that seemed to see your soul. From their first meeting, Caleb relaxed, his tense shoulders easing as Duke lay at his feet, like he knew the boy's hurt without needing words. They built a language, hand signals, eye flicks, touches, that let Caleb speak through Duke, fetching objects, signaling emotions, even pointing to truth. Lena cried the first time Caleb signaled Duke to grab his science book, a spark of the kid they'd lost. But the museum's lies kept Marcus in legal hell, their edited video hiding the guard's slurs, the news calling him confrontational. The family faced whispers, their trouble, and worse, vandalism, slashed tires, a message scrawled on their garage. "Go back where you came from." They needed a fighter, and they found one in Aisha Monroe, a black lawyer in her 30s, known for taking on impossible cases. Aisha saw Caleb, knelt to his level, "You and Duke got this," and took the case, knowing it wasn't just about Marcus. It was about a system protecting its own. The trial was a stacked deck from the jump. Judge Grayson, cozy with the museum's director, Leonard Hayes, called Aisha Miss Monroe, while chatting up prosecutor Ethan Caldwell like an old pal. Caldwell, all slick suits and sharper smirks, leaned hard on Weston's testimony. Marcus Turner attacked us. Unprovoked. Their video started late, skipping the part where Weston profiled Caleb, and Grayson shut down Aisha's objections. Stick to facts, counsel. Aisha dug up dirt, Hayes and Grayson on a fundraising board, Caldwell's wife working PR for the museum. But Grayson wouldn't budge, ruling Caleb couldn't testify through Duke, calling it unreliable theatrics. Aisha pushed back, filing motions with expert reports from Dr. Carla Rivera, who'd tested Caleb and Duke, proving their signals were 97% accurate, like a voice through a different channel. Caleb's silence wasn't weakness. It was his shield, forged from seeing his dad brutalized, and Duke was his way to break through. Aisha got a break when Tanya Ellis, a former museum cashier, whispered to her, "They target black kids." Hayes told Weston to set examples. Tanya's apartment was trashed days later, a museum badge left as a warning, but she stood firm. Aisha appealed Grayson's ruling, and a new judge, Sarah Ellison, ordered a hearing. In a packed courtroom, Caleb and Duke showed their system. Signals for colors, emotions, even picking Weston's photo from a lineup. No cues, no tricks. Ellison nodded. This is his voice. Let him use it. Grayson was sidelined, Ellison took over, and Caleb's testimony was green-lit. But the museum doubled down, leaking stories calling him manipulated, their PR machine humming to save Hayes. The real fight came in court, the air thick with tension as Caleb took the stand, Duke steady at his side. Ellison's voice was calm. "Noah, you're here to tell the truth. Ready?" Caleb nodded, signaling Duke to pick a green card. "Yes." Aisha started slow. "Who was with you at the museum?" Caleb's hands moved, quick and sure, Duke fetching pictures of his class. His teacher, Ms. Harper, who'd left him behind. The jury leaned in, scribbling notes, as Caleb mapped the museum's entrance, pointing where Weston stopped him, sneering, "Prove you belong here." His shoulders tensed when Aisha showed Weston's photo, but Duke pressed close, grounding him. "Who else was there, Caleb?" Aisha asked, and Caleb's signal sent Duke to Hayes' photo, the director who'd barked, "Make an example." Gasps rippled through the room. Hayes had sworn he wasn't there. Caldwell jumped up, "Objection. This is a stunt." But Ellison shut him down. "Overruled. Let the boy speak." Caleb's hands shook as he relived Marcus' arrest, Duke fetching cards for fear and anger, his signals painting a scene nobody could ignore. Guards slamming Marcus down, slurs hissed low, Hayes watching it all. Caldwell tried to rattle him, voice sharp. "You sure you didn't misremember, kid? Your dad got loud, right?" Caleb signaled red. "No," then wrote, "Video lies. Show the start." That note, his first written words about that day, hit like a bomb, exposing the museum's edited tape. Aisha dropped the real evidence. A hidden audio device Caleb had kept from the trip, catching Hayes' voice. "They can't wander wherever. They need to know their place." The jury's faces hardened. Ellison's jaw tightened. And Hayes, in the gallery, went white. The fallout was swift. Caldwell offered a deal. Drop the charges, no civil suit. But Marcus and Lena refused. "This isn't just us. It's every kid like Caleb." Ellison dismissed the case, then turned to Caldwell. "This court's referring Hayes and Weston for perjury and civil rights violations. DOJ's getting this." Protests erupted outside the museum, #Justice for Caleb trending as folks demanded Hayes' head. The DOJ moved fast, charging Hayes, Weston, and others for systemic racism, uncovering a network of profiling across Indy's cultural spots. Photos of black visitors shared like wanted posters. Hayes was fired. The museum shuttered for a reassessment. Board members quit, and sponsors bailed. Caleb, still quiet but healing, spoke at a community forum, his voice soft but clear after 9 months. "They hurt my dad because I was black. Max helped me tell the truth." The room wept. Fairview shifted schools, rewrote field trip rules. The city audited museums, and Caleb's Equal Access Foundation started helping other kids. But as I wrote my story, the threats lingered. Vandalism at their home, Lena's job on the line, whispers of troublemakers. Caleb's voice broke through, but at what cost? He's a hero, but will the system let him stay one? Hayes is gone, but are the roots of that bias really cut? A kid left a note at the museum. Caleb spoke, "Keep listening. That's the win, right? But is it enough? Or is another family still fighting to be heard?" What do you think? Was Caleb's courage enough to change things? Or is the system too deep? Should kids like him have to fight this hard? Ever seen truth win like this? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching, share your stories. Like, subscribe, and let's keep their voices loud, so you don't have to.